You have exactly 3 seconds to like and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll appear in your dreams tonight. To ask for a donation for that cup of coffee, link below.
Hanoi, a land of 1,000 years of civilization, is where the essence of the nation's culture and history converges. But it's not just a city of the past. This city is also always ready to transform itself to integrate into the flow of modern development. From its 36 ancient street to its towering modern urban areas, the capital is constantly changing to keep pace with the times. And if you read the newspapers, it's not difficult to notice a clear trend in Hanoi's urban development. In recent years, that means the city is expanding rapidly eastward. But why have over 3,000 speakers been sold in the Vietnamese market and millions of products sold worldwide? The product in question is the CyberCut speaker, which has received high praise from many customers for its sound quality, professional karaoke features, and especially its reasonable price. To start today with a music promotion, let's rewind time to the late 20th and early 21st centuries and imagine you're a young man preparing to get married. To prepare for this momentous event, one of the most important things is finding a place to stay. Your parents wanting their children to have their own place to live, instead of continuing to share a cramped apartment of only a few dozen square meters, have set their sights on buying a plot of land. However, due to limited economic resources, the most viable option lay on the other side of the Red River, in what is now Long Bien district. Hearing that, you can't help but hesitate. Like other residents of the capital at that time, you harbored a reluctance to move there. The reason is the feeling of being far away, inconvenient, and somewhat out of place compared to the bustling pace of life in the inner city. However, the desire to have a home of your own for your small family has made you change your mind, and moving to Long Bien was indeed a great decision. Not only will you enjoy a more peaceful and spacious life, but the value of your land will also increase at a rapid pace year after year. And you absolutely deserve it. You are one of the pioneers embracing new trends. That's the trend of development towards the east of the capital. Before delving into the rise of the capital city towards the rising sun, let's look back at the city's urban development history to better understand this pivotal transformation. However, to avoid getting too caught up in the more than 1,000-year history, Thang Long, Hanoi, we will focus only on the period from 1954 to the present. That was the time when Hanoi was taken over by the revolutionary government from the French. At that time, the city covered an area of approximately 152 square kilometers, comprising 4 inner city districts with 34 neighborhoods and 4 outer city districts with 45 communes. Since then, the capital has undergone 4 significant changes in its administrative boundaries. First taking place in 1960, in order to build Hanoi into a city worthy of its status as the center of North Vietnam. The Second National Assembly approved a resolution of the government regarding the expansion of the city to nearly 4 times its original size, to 586, and a population of over 900,000 people. The inner city area at that time comprised 4 districts, but and 363 block. The outskirts of Hanoi were also expanded to include 4 district Gia Lam, Dong An, and 2 Liam, equivalent to 13 communes and 3 towns. This is considered a fundamental decision that will pave the way for urban spatial development in the decades to come. Peace was restored, and the country was reunited. Hanoi once again took on the crucial responsibility of leading the economy, which had suffered heavy losses after decades of war. The demands of industrialization require Hanoi to continue expanding. At the end of 1978, the National Assembly agreed to incorporate the entire Asun Bin province, equivalent to Ha Tay and Ho Bin, into the city's area has expanded to 2136 Gifka with a population of nearly million people. However, during those difficult and challenging times. Managing such vast area was a huge challenge, negatively impact operational efficiency. Therefore, in 1991, decided to restore the statue to its original appearance. The three provinces of Hatay, Hoa Binh were re-established, reducing Hanoi's area to just over 900. During this period, the capital city focused on developing infrastructure and improving the quality of life in the inner. In just 3 years, from 1990, 5,000 square meters of housing were built, solving the housing problem for a large segment of the population, along with projects serving public needs such as schools and hospitals. Along with that, buildings with modern architectural styles are appearing more and more in the inner city area. Several new districts have also been created, clearly demonstrating the city government's commitment to urbanization. The names that are now so familiar, such as Teho, Kojay, Mai, were established between 2000, according to the late General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong. During this period, Hanoi overcame many accumulated difficulties, gradually emerged from economic decline, developed continuously and evenly, and achieved a high growth rate. And that comprehensive growth was the cornerstone for the turning point that occurred in 2000 when Hanoi carried out what is considered the most significant administrative boundary expansion in the city's modern history. Once again, the entire province of Hatay was merged into the capital. In addition, there is My Linh district in Vinh Phuc province and 4 communes of Luong Son district. This decision increases the total area of to 334, making one of the largest cities in Southeast Asia. At the same time, it opens up opportunities to develop a modern capital region that can compete with major cities around the world. Followed its expansion to Hanoi, capitalized on the vast land resources acquired after the merger with Hatay province, along with robustly developed transportation infrastructure. As a result, the city witnessed a strong westward shift in line with the direction set by the late Prime Minister Vo Van Kiet in 1990. The 3 districts of Nam Tu Liam, Bac, and Ha Dong were established to mark this development. Numerous new urban areas have. The real estate market in Western Hanoi is so hot that it's even creating massive price surge. If you lived in the capital, at that, the images of people diligently working in the fields at the foot of Ba Vi Mountain, more than 70 km from the city center, would certainly not have been unfamiliar. Despite all that activity, the eastern region remained quietly on the sidelines for a long time. This place, considered a quiet suburban area, according to the recollections of Professor Dr. Deng Huk, former Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, 2022, a few years ago, the eastern area was still just a rural region with a picturesque dike and agricultural land, clear development direction. However, the situation has changed dramatically in just the last few years. A series of key infrastructure projects have been and are unlocking the potential of, and the eastern region is expected to become one of the capital's most impressive growth hubs in the near future. So what are the reasons why Hanoi is developing so strongly towards the thin side of the sun? The answer stems from 3 core factors: geographical location, infrastructure, and the sea landscape. First, there's the location. This is a gift that nature has bestowed upon the eastern land. This is something that not every area in the capital city has. These kinds of images are probably familiar to you whenever it rains. That's right. The inner city area on the west side of Hanoi, which was once the city's growth axis for many years, was once a low-lying area. The geographical location means this area is constantly at risk of flooding during rainy seasons. And the overloaded drainage infrastructure due to rapid urbanization only exacerbates this problem. The eastern area of Hanoi is considered to be a much higher and flatter piece of land. This natural advantage helps the districts and counties here to limit flooding. Flooding from street intersections is therefore unlikely to occur, becoming a key factor in attracting investment to the eastern part of the city. Moreover, this area also benefits from a natural gift bestowed upon Hanoi, the Red River. From turning its back on the Red River, Hanoi will now turn its face towards this river for development. This was the affirmation following the approval of the Red River Urban Planning Project by the Hanoi People's Committee, 2022. Accordingly, instead of focusing solely on the inner city and neglecting the eastern area due to concerns about the Red River's proximity to the city center, the Red River will now become the central growth axis, playing a core role in the capital's development vision. According to this plan, both banks of the river will now become green urban areas and ecological parks that are both modern and preserve traditional values. And with its location along the Red River, the eastern part of Hanoi will certainly play a crucial role in this strategic project of the city. In fact, the trend of urban expansion along major rivers is not new and has been demonstrated in many cities around the world, like Shanghai, the core of China's miraculous economic growth over the past nearly half-century. Prior to 1990, the city developed primarily on the west bank of the Huangpu River. But just 30 the riverside area transformed into a leading financial and commercial hub, not only for China but for all of Asia. To 2017, the economy of the East Coast reaching 139 currently. This area is home to 20% of the city's population and contributes more than 1/3 of its GDP, earning it the nickname Paris of the Sun is no exception to that. During the 1960s, the main activities of the leader of the land of kimchi were usually concentrated on the north bank of the Han River. But the South Bank region began to become a swampy. Many new urban areas and iconic buildings of Seoul have been constructed in this region. A prime example is the 6th building, the tallest building in Asia in 1980s. This urban development along riverbanks is not unique to Asia. It's a common practice in many major cities around the world. Some typical examples include London with the River Thames, Paris with the Seine, St. Petersburg with the Neva River, and New York with the River Hudson. Looking at these cities, it's easy to see that urban development along the banks of a major river has become a global trend, and Hanoi will certainly not be an exception to that. Beyond being the center of a future modern city, the Red River also holds another equally important role. Its role in water features play a vital role in promoting wealth and the development of a region. In addition, according to Professor Dang Hung Vo, the Red River also provides a solid foundation for the country in general and Hanoi in particular. And from that point on, opportunities for sustainable growth will open up, bringing new vitality to the capital city. Developing Hanoi along both sides of the Red River, taking advantage of its favorable feng shui location, should therefore become a central task in the coming period. The eastern part of the citadel will be the future of Hanoi's extremely rapid development. There are cities that are built with great care but fail to develop. Meanwhile, there are cities that, simply by being placed in the right location, possess a strong inherent vitality. That is the very auspicious feng shui element of eastern Hanoi that has been overlooked for so long. In addition to its natural advantages, the increasingly developed infrastructure has also become a pioneering driving force, creating foundation for the dramatic changes in. We started later but finished first. That's probably the most accurate description of the urban infrastructure in the eastern part of the capital. It used to be considered just a suburban area with outdated infrastructure. However, once attention began to be paid to it, the transportation and urban infrastructure here was developed at a rapid pace in a synchronized and modern manner. According to the central planning of the capital, by 2045, with a vision to the eastern, including Gia Lam District, Longbian District, will become one of the 5 urban zones of the city. Together with urban areas to the southwest and north, they will form a chain of 4 satellite cities that will share the burden of population and traffic for the overloaded inner city. To realize this goal, the eastern region is witnessing an infrastructure revolution with a series of key projects that have been, are, and will be implemented. The cornerstone of that plan is a system of bridges and roads along with a well-planned and systematically constructed public transportation network, with a vision to alleviate the situation. According to Hanoi's transportation plan, for the period up to 2030, with a vision to 2030, to meet the travel needs of the people and connect inter-regional transportation, the capital city will have 18 bridges crossing the Red River. In addition to the 9 trees already in use, the remaining 9 structures will be built in the near future. These include Hongha, Miso, Thanglong, Moi, Tu Lien, Ngo Khoi, Tran, Hung Dao, and Van. Of these, 6 bridges are expected to begin construction next year with a total investment of over 60,000 billion VND from the 2 billion US, besides nearly 20 bridges crossing rivers. The eastern area of Hanoi will also benefit from ring road projects. Ring Road 4 will play a particularly important role, with a length of approximately 1 km and a total investment of 1,000 billion. This project will connect the east and west of Hanoi with key industrial areas in Hung, Yen, Bac Ninh, and Bac Giang, vital artery for the capital region. The sooner the project is completed, the sooner it will open up new opportunities for development. Citizen businesses are entitled to benefits. This was directive of Prime Minister Pham Minh Chine at the end, requesting the acceleration of land clearance and construction with the goal of bringing this road into operation as soon as possible. In addition to improving transportation connections between the 2 banks of the Red River and neighboring localities, these projects are also expected to break down the psychological barrier of bringing the eastern area closer to the city center in the future. In addition to the bridge and ring road system, this area will also be supplemented with a complete public transportation network, Metro Lines 1A, along with 3 express bus routes EO1, EO2, and EO3, once complete. They are expected to completely resolve the transportation difficulties that people are currently facing. The population attracting capacity of Long Bien and Gia Lam districts is therefore expected to increase significantly. This will alleviate the pressure currently weighing on the interior design area. Another significant advantage of the eastern region is its ample land availability. Thanks to this advantage, housing projects here have ample space to develop a diverse range of apartment sizes, shopping malls, schools, entertainment areas. All of these factors contribute to a superior quality of life for residents. That is also a huge competitive advantage that the eastern region possesses, according to experts. Urban development projects undertaken by reputable developers here are doing a very good job of relieving inner city population density thanks to their integrated amenities and services. This remains an impossible task for other satellite cities of the capital such as Hoa Lac or Sac Sun. The city cannot force inner city residents to live there if they don't want to. The people in that neighborhood have money and a need for a particularly high quality of life. That is the opinion of Dr. Vu Dinant, former deputy director of the Institute for Market and Price Research under the Ministry of Finance. Regarding the differences between the eastern region and the rest, the eastern area was a latecomer to development, but this is an advantage with its remarkably developed infrastructure, and this development is proof of the success of the comprehensive expansion and investment strategy that Hanoi is implementing in. After decades of hard work, the craftsman finally needs a rest. Just like you on your vacation, Hanoi also longs for the sea, and the focus on the sea is the ultimate driving force behind the development of the capital's eastern region. It is a country with over 32 km of coastline and approximately 3,000 islands and archipelagos of varying sizes. Vietnam possesses enormous potential to develop this type of economy. Favorable natural conditions not only open up opportunities for efficient resource exploitation, but also create a solid foundation for related service industries, contributing to sustainable growth. In fact, developing marine economy is an important task set by the party and the state to maximize the advantages that the ocean offers. However, the way to implement and respond to this policy remains complex, especially for landlocked localities like Hanoi. So how can the capital city leverage and maximize the benefits that the maritime economy offers? According to Vu Dian's explanation, to develop the marine economy, we must first focus on the sea. Towards the east, we cannot retreat into the mountains to develop the marine. This is also a core direction in Hanoi's development strategy. As it expands towards the rising sun, the goal is to make this area a connecting point with the coastal economic zones in the north. The journey from Hanoi to the sea often took many hours due to poor traffic conditions. Now, from Long Bien district, it only takes about an hour by car to reach Lac Hien Port, one of the leading deep water ports in northern Vietnam. located in Phong. To achieve this, the highway system connecting Hanoi, Phong, and Ninh plays a leading role. With a total length of over 260, including the Hanoi-Haiphong Expressway, which is approximately, along with the Haiphong, Ha, Long, Van Don, and Mong Kai Expressway, spanning over 150. This route forms a strategic transportation axis that not only facilitates travel, also initiates trade, transportation, and logistics activities between the three poles of the Northern Development Triangle. Faced with this opportunity, assigned Long, Bien District and Gia Lam District the key task of implementing projects related to the marine economy. One of the key solutions proposed is to build more inland ports and railways with the goal of creating a complete logistics network to connect goods and services from this area to the sea and vice versa. That time, the position of the eastern region in particular and the inland areas in general, with the orientation of promoting the country's maritime economy, will be further clearly affirmed. Infrastructure, geographical location, and potential for economic development. In these factors have been and continue to provide a significant resource for Eastern Hanoi. Thanks to strong political determination, as well as carefully planned investment strategies and infrastructure development, this area has the opportunity to become Hanoi's second inner city core, helping to alleviate pressure on the inner city. Moreover, the East possesses the full potential to become a strategic gateway, enabling Hanoi to rise to the level of modern cities around the world. Ha music.